My name's Tony Franks-Buckley and I am the National Vice Chairman of the Italy Star Association. I'm also the World War II historian for 𝙀𝙀 and I was the historical advisor for the Black Rock production. The Black Rock was filmed at Fort Perch Rock on the banks of the River Mersey in New Brighton, and the name Fort Perch Rock comes from the wooden perch on the rock from the name 𝙀𝙀 and 𝙀𝙀 was obviously the Black Rock in Old English, and it came from the wooden perch that later became a lighthouse. So the name Perch Rock was carried over, and they utilised it in 1826 when they started to build the foundation works for the Fort Perch Rock battery as you see it today, and in the film production itself. So from that, the name Black Rock has eventually became New Brighton when New Brighton was formed in 1830, and they've moved on from that to modern day where it's pretty much just known as New Brighton and the fort. Everyone knows it's the fort in New Brighton as well. So the fort during the wartime, it was filled with anti-aircraft guns. It was part of a bigger defence on the banks of the River Mersey and stretched as far as 𝙀𝙀 village, 𝙀𝙀 all the way back to 𝙀𝙀 near to the dock area. So the fort was on the mouth of the Mersey, and in 1940, before the actual Home Guard were formed, it would have had the Royal Artillery, the West Lancs Division, would have been stationed here awaiting for enemy aircrafts to come over. In reality, the bombs didn't drop till August 1940, but in the Black Rock, it was a different scenario itself. So had we have lost the Battle of Britain and the Germans made their way up north and they would have entered the river, they would have taken over pretty much all the land of 𝙀𝙀 as well as later on with Liverpool on the other side as well. The fort would have been pretty much used as part of the stronghold against any forces that were going to come back against the German invasion at the time. So it would have been a perfect location for the Germans to take over, and especially being just further up from the Docklands as well. We've had Liverpool docks, Birkenhead docks, 𝙀𝙀 docks, and more importantly the Panowerx shipbuilding. I'm sure the Germans would have put themselves forth getting our people to build ships for their interests as well. So once the location was sorted out, the next thing was the crew wanted to make sure the authenticity was correct along with the uniforms. That was a big part of the production. They wanted to make sure everything was correct. So we had to sit down and decide who it was, and it was the Royal Artillery, the West Lancs Division. So you had to make sure you had things like the badges on the arms, and then there's the buttons and everything to make sure it was the right length, and also the weight as well. If you look at the weight, it was the heavy stuff. It was good woolen products. So we had to make sure it really did look the part as well. When we see Charles in the film, what we've got to remember is that most of the younger men were already away on the front line. So it was the older men who were left alongside, back at the fort, keeping guard. So Charles's posture and his structure is absolutely perfect for that period of time as well. So he really did nail the actual authenticity of the character. He really got into it. So being used to talking of the history and telling other people of what it was like during wartime around the fort, when I was seeing all the actors in all their uniform there and then in the moment walking the fort, and it was just like, wow, we are back in time here. It was like, it was surreal thinking what it would have been like, and especially when you see the scenes of where it's the possibility of being taken over as well. It just shows you what might have been.